Evening, everyone. It's 5:23, and this is your closing comment for today, um, July the 5th, after that nice long weekend. And we had a fairly horrendous opening and a very solid close. This is your video number 1349. Okay, so Dow opened down about 200, went down 740, and came all the way back and made a new high of the day at the end of the day, but finished down 129.44, or 0.4%. NASDAQ, on the other hand, had turned up by about 10:30 after being down about 200, and it actually by 12:30, 1 o'clock, was back in the green for good and closed also higher the day, up 194.39, or 1.75%. S&P was down 70, finished up 606, or 0.16%. The Russell was up 1357, or 0.8%, and the other Dow component, the transports, down 72.81, or just over 0.5%. The chart on the screen is the dollar, and this is really what it was all about today. I tried to make the point about the dollar being completely on its own and having to work against a basket of currencies. And I'll show you the one that was the problem. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, we had the Swiss franc revalued basically to the upside. Today, we had the euro basically revalued to the downside. I'll show you what this looks like. All of a sudden, everybody is talking about the dollar and the euro being on parity 1-to-1 during the summer. I mean, this was down a point and a half, 1.6%, and it's been weak for quite a while. This is the 10-year, and we have nothing below this. Let me just check the 20-year. Yeah. Okay, so this is when the euro actually started, and it was down at one point down here into the 83-85 cent area, but then worked its way up to almost $1.60 in June of 2008, while we were having all of those 2008 issues, housing bubble, etc. This has broken down through 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, certainly 5 bottoms, and closed on the low. So, that's not an easy thing to deal with. But I also want to make mention, we had the oil down almost $9, and it was lower. It actually was below. Let's get rid of this long-term look. It was below 98, and it managed to close 99.5. But this is, still a pretty decent decline off the lower high, but 123, 123.18 to below 100. This area is still an area of major support. I'll show you on the weekly. We had this important break to the upside from 95, where we got in 2.5 weeks up to the contract high of 130. We came back down 92.20, 93.80, 92.90, 95.28, 100, 98.20. Today's low, 97.43. So, there's a great deal of demand destruction, at least in Europe. Here, not so much. And while this was also, this is another one of those world commodities that are traded in dollars. So when the dollar gets stronger, prices get weaker. You can count on every multinational who misses their earnings number starting next week. They will talk about the strong dollar, even though the dollar has not been, I mean, it's been strong, but it hasn't been strong like it was today in quite some time. Also, the gold was down, gold and silver. Last night it was up about 12 or $15 when I went to sleep. Traded up at 18.15, which would have been up about $15. Traded there, broke this morning, broke through these bottoms at 17.80, where Dennis has been a big bull. I actually didn't talk to him today, but I know that if he were in it, which I doubt, he would have had a stop below those numbers. So, and he is up 80%. So I really can't argue with his methodology. Rest of these markets, silver down along with the gold. Gasoline down 35 cents. Heating oil down 33 cents. Nat gas down 20 cents, even though the mid and long term market for this, especially in Europe, is causing it to be trading at prices that are a multiple of ours, a multiple of 4 or 5 or 6 times ours. So I think that will adjust at some point in the very near future. We also added to the small position we had left over in the Disney. We bought some more, 4 in the big account, 2 in the small account. Some of the 100 calls with the stock. This was really a beauty. The stock traded 92 and change. The options traded down to 40 cents. I bought them at 58 cents on a pullback, and they closed $1.32. So nothing wrong with that. All right, everyone. Excuse me. We have earnings starting next week. The banks will be first, of course. That earnings season that I just hate. Oh, by the way, also Bitcoin was substantially lower, traded below 19,000 today. And even though it looks like a tiny little short range day, oh, well, that's the weekly. Let's look at daily. Still tiny little short range, closing on the high and clearly 2,000, almost 2,000 off the low. So a great showing there. So I'm expecting we'll see a little more follow through overnight and into tomorrow, even though the news on Bitcoin was just horrendous. All right, everyone. Have a good evening. I'll be back in the